It's 1:17 a.m. You're not tired, but you're not awake either. You've just watched 3 episodes you barely remember. You're holding your phone, scrolling through people you don't know, half laughing at things you don't care about. There's a snack in one hand, your to-do list somewhere far away, and a quiet thought you're trying not to hear. You're not alone. The world is full of people like you, entertained, stimulated, but hollow. We live in an age of endless options. Instant messages, instant food, instant everything, and yet so many of us feel nothing. That's the paradox. We've never been more connected, more entertained, more comfortable. But deep down, we're starving. Not for more likes, not for more noise, but for something that actually means something. Viktor Frankl once wrote, "When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure." Maybe your problem isn't laziness. Maybe it's not a lack of willpower. Maybe you're just trying to feel less. Because what you're really missing can't be found in the next episode, the next scroll, or the next hit of dopamine. What you're missing is meaning. Frankl's warning, the meaning crisis. Viktor Frankl lived through a nightmare. He lost his family. He was imprisoned in concentration camps. He saw death, cruelty, and hopelessness up close, and yet he didn't come out of it preaching survival. He came out of it preaching meaning. Because what he saw was this: those who had something to live for, something bigger than their suffering, were more likely to endure, and those who didn't, even if they were physically strong, often gave up. But Frankl didn't just write for people in camps. He wrote for people like us, people surrounded by comfort, but haunted by emptiness. He warned that a society without meaning would turn to distraction, that people would numb themselves with pleasure because they couldn't answer the deeper question, why am I here? And the danger is this: distraction feels like relief. It gives us just enough pleasure to forget that we're lost. But meaning asks more of us. It requires honesty. It requires choice. It requires courage. Frankl believed that our deepest hunger wasn't for pleasure. It was for purpose. And when we don't feed that hunger, we drift, we scroll, we binge. We pretend. But the ache doesn't go away. Because only meaning can fill a soul that's gone hollow. And deep down, you know it. Pleasure is not the problem. Numbing is. Let's be clear. Pleasure is not the enemy. A good meal, a warm bath, a show that makes you laugh, a moment of lightness in a heavy world, these things matter. They restore us. They remind us life can still feel good. But here's the difference. Real pleasure nourishes. Numbing distracts. Pleasure is present. It asks you to feel, to enjoy, to connect. Numbing is avoidance. It asks nothing of you, except that you stay unconscious just a little longer. Pleasure brings you into your body. Numbing pulls you out of your life. And we know the difference. We can feel it. In the way we keep reaching for more, even when we're full. In the way we stay online long after we've stopped caring. In the way silence feels unbearable, so we fill it with noise. We say we're tired, but often, we're just unanchored. We say we need rest, but what we really need is direction. Numbing gives temporary escape. Meaning gives lasting energy. And the longer we delay asking what really matters, the more tempting it becomes to chase anything that helps us forget how lost we feel. But forgetting is not freedom. It's a trap that looks like comfort. And every time you numb, you're not just avoiding pain, you're delaying purpose. What meaning feels like. Comfort feels like a soft blanket. Warm, familiar, safe. Meaning feels different. It doesn't always wrap you in peace. Sometimes it stirs you, stretches you, wakes you in the middle of the night with a thought you can't ignore. Comfort says, stay where you are, you've earned it. Meaning says, there's more in you, and you know it. Comfort whispers, don't risk it, don't change. Meaning asks, what are you willing to risk for what truly matters? Comfort is a pause. Meaning is a pulse. One helps you rest, the other makes you come alive. And the strange truth is, you can have everything comfortable, a good job, a nice home, a busy calendar, and still feel empty. But when your life has meaning, even discomfort becomes bearable. Even suffering becomes something you can face with dignity. Meaning doesn't make life easy. It makes life worth it. It gives weight to your yes. It gives direction to your energy. It turns your ordinary days into something sacred. Frankl knew this, that people don't break from pressure. They break from purposelessness. So if you feel tired in a way that rest doesn't fix, ask yourself, am I choosing comfort or am I choosing something deeper? Because the cost of meaning is often discomfort, but the reward is that you finally feel awake. Inner dialogue. What are you using to escape? Take a quiet moment, no judgment, no shame, just honesty. Ask yourself, what do I reach for when I don't want to feel? Is it your phone, a drink, food, noise, busyness? Is it saying, I'm fine, when you're anything but? We all have something. That thing we use to soften the edges, to blur the ache, to delay the truth. But here's the deeper question. What is it I'm trying not to feel? Loneliness? Boredom? Disappointment? The fear that maybe you're not living the life you were meant to live? Frankl didn't ask us to be perfect. He asked us to be awake, to notice when pleasure becomes avoidance, to notice when comfort becomes a cage. So just pause, look at your patterns with gentleness, and ask, what part of me is hungry for something real? What have I been avoiding that might actually lead me toward meaning? Because escaping might offer ease, but meaning offers depth, and you were made for more than just feeling less. Mini story. A person who traded numbness for purpose. Her name was Chloe. From the outside, life looked good. She had a steady job, a nice apartment, a routine that worked. Weekends were filled with brunches and streaming. Weeknights disappeared into endless scrolling and short bursts of joy. But something inside her felt quiet. Not peaceful, just muted. She couldn't remember the last time she felt fully alive, or the last time she cried for something real. She just kept moving, from screen to screen, task to task, moment to moment, until one night, after another mindless evening of autoplay and takeout, she sat in the dark and whispered a question she hadn't dared ask in years. What am I doing with my life? The silence that followed was heavy, but it didn't crush her. It cracked something open. The next day, she didn't quit everything. She didn't make a grand announcement. She just did one thing. She signed up to volunteer once a week at a shelter she used to walk past without noticing. And for the first time in a long time, she felt her heart beat louder than her phone. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't always easy, but it was real. That small act, that shift from comfort to contribution, brought something back to life in her. She still enjoys her shows, still goes to brunch, but now there's meaning woven into her days, and that has changed everything. Chloe didn't trade pleasure for pain. She traded numbness for something deeper. Purpose, the courage to choose meaning. Choosing meaning isn't glamorous. It won't always feel good. It often won't feel safe, because meaning asks more of you than comfort ever will. Comfort lets you stay the same. Meaning asks you to grow, to stretch, to let go of the easy path for the one that actually leads somewhere. And that takes courage. It takes courage to sit in silence when you'd rather scroll, to say no to things that make you feel good but leave you empty. It takes courage to ask, what actually matters to me? And then to live like the answer is real. Sometimes meaning will cost you approval. Sometimes it will cost you convenience. Sometimes it will make you question everything. But meaning will also give you something comfort never can: A life that feels like it belongs to you. Not borrowed, not copied, not numbed, but lived. Frankl never said it would be easy. He just said it would be worth it. Because even in suffering, even in uncertainty, a life of meaning has a pulse. It gives you a reason to rise, to keep going, to face yourself fully. And when you live with meaning, you may not always feel comfortable, but you'll know you're alive. You weren't made to feel less. You weren't made to live half awake, to scroll your way through the years, to silence your questions with noise that never satisfies. You were made to feel deeply, to care about something, to get your heart broken and still choose to love, to fail and still rise, to walk through discomfort because what's on the other side actually matters to you. Frankl once said, when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. But he also believed that once a person finds meaning, they become unstoppable. Not because they're fearless, but because they've found something worth being afraid for. So if you've been drifting, if you've been numbing, if you've been living safe but empty, this is your invitation. Don't settle for comfort that keeps you from growth. Don't settle for pleasure that covers your pain but never heals it. Don't settle for feeling less just because it's easier than facing more. Instead, face more, feel more, care more, because this world doesn't need more distraction. It needs more people who are awake, who are willing to live with meaning, even when it hurts, especially then.